Ever since I uploaded the updated Longbow Dagger gear and skill build, a lot of you have been asking me why I didn't include a rotation. The reason is that the rotation didn't change from the original guide I made. There haven't been big changes in skill specialization, but I decided to create a video dedicated only to rotation and show some gameplay clips in PvE and PvP, how to play, position and move around bosses and other players in large-scale PvP. If you didn't know already, I started live streaming on YouTube, so feel free to join in, ask some questions and enjoy live Longbow Dagger gameplay. During the stream, many of you have told me that you are only PvE players and that you don't do any PvP. So I also decided to create a gear build that is fully catered to PvE only players. Keep in mind that you cannot use this gear build in PvP as it is completely useless since you don't have any hit chance or evasion, and it is mainly focused on high damage, cooldown reduction, heavy attack chance and high critical chance. 11 out of 13 items in this build can be obtained through dungeons, open world farming, open world dungeons or crafting chests with guaranteed drop. Only Shadow Harvester Helmet and Belt of Bloodlust are drops from open world bosses. If you need to check where each gear item drops, click on gear item, then click on this icon, new window will open up and there you can check where exactly it can drop. Or you can simply go into the game, go in craft menu, find the gear item you're looking for, click on it, press how to acquire and it will tell you where it drops. The stat allocation also works well, where you need 50 perception for extra range, 50 strength for heavy attack chance, 40 dexterity for crit chance and 30 wisdom for max mana, while the weapons are Karnik's bow and Licurious dagger. The skill build, weapon mastery, traits and stats can all be found on the quest log link. If you are interested in detailed explanations on my other gear builds, please watch the previous update video I did focusing just on those builds. Now on to the part you came here for, the rotation. Skill specialization can be found in my previous video, quest log link, but I will also quickly show it here, so take a screenshot or pause the video. Here is the dagger specialization, here is the longbow specialization, and here are all the active and passive skills used. The rotation consists of two main combos. Every boss fight you will start with a deadly marker into ensnaring arrow into decisive sniping. This is your first combo. And these three skills will always come off cooldown around the same time, so they should always be used one after another in every rotation. Straight after that, you're activating Lightning Infusion, applying Thunder stacks with Strafing, into Fatal Stigma from range, into Zephyr, then dashing with Shadow Strike, Lightning Infusion spin, Cleaving Moonlight, Thundercloud bombing, and then Shadow Striking back to range. At this point, your decisive sniping combo should be off cooldown. But if it's not, use Flash Wave as a filler skill. The great thing about using Flash Wave is that it serves as a support skill, where it is an AOE heal for yourself and your party members in case of an emergency. This is all paired with passive skills of Distorted Sanctuary and Earth's Blessing, which increase healing and recovery by significant margin, to the point where you are also a high burst DPS class with an offhand healing capabilities. The most important thing to note is that you should not worry too much if you miss your rotation or your cooldowns are not in sync. The bosses will often mess up the rotation with mechanics and attacks, but it is not a problem. This rotation becomes very fluid, smooth and easy to do with tier 2 gear, as right now in tier 1 we are lacking cooldown reduction and attack speed, which is needed to properly have a fluid and seamless rotation. As long as you do 2 combos without using anything else, you should be fine. So do not feel bad if you can't pull it off perfectly every time. On the topic of PvE, a lot of you also asked me for an AOE farming skill build. So I cooked. And I cooked up something actually viable as it deals quite a lot of damage. The main focus is on using as many AOE skill specialization nodes and pairing it up with poison. AOE build does not use thunder. It is focused on spreading poison stacks on as many enemies as possible. On the longbow skill specialization tree, taking tornado for CC, the usual strafing nodes, decisive sniping nodes that allow you to move and charge AoE line, flash wave and enhanced blitz with cooldown, while having Zephyr, Nature's Blessing and Brutal Arrow as skills without any nodes just for damage and utility. On the dagger side, Cleaving Moonlight 2x usage node with another node that deals extra damage to poisoned targets. Brutal Incision with a node that increases damage to poison targets, Camouflage Cloak for 100% crit chance before using Flash Wave, and of course Inject Venom with duration and cooldown nodes. Now how does this work? You would want to pull as many bombs as you think you can handle. Activate Poison and start applying it with dagger skills, strafing, then use Tornado to CC them while you prepare Flash Wave, into Blitz, into Stealth, into another Flash Wave, into Decisive Bombardment combo to finish all the mobs off. Now of course the damage will depend on your gear and traits. Some mobs might take longer to kill, some might be faster, but having Poison consistently applied to all of them means that you will slowly tick their HP down, until your AOE burst is back off cooldown. For passive skills, you need an Assassin Step for infinite mana regen, 2 passives that have increased healing and recovery, so you can heal yourself fully and never die, poison damage and duration increase, with a Destructive Fang to reduce the defense of all the mobs. Try it yourself and let me know if there are any adjustments you would do. I'm still in the testing and experimenting phase, but I will keep updating the quest log if I change any skills, so always keep an eye on that. To put it simply, the rotation in PvP does not exist. In PvP you are always against enemy that is unpredictable, always on the move, and most likely always have a backup. There are several combos you can use just like in PvE, but it won't be as effective since you need to adapt to the enemy. The enemy in PvP is not like a boss who stands still for the whole fight, casting the same mechanics and attacks in an endless predictable circle. In small-scale fights like Dominion events or Arena, you will often need to adapt your skill build to your playstyle and preferences. There is no skill build that will work for every situation. If there are a lot of melee classes targeting you, you have to change something and adapt based on how they play. If there are a lot of ranged squishy targets, then maybe going more melee-oriented skill build to sit on them and blast them with dagger skills. The options are endless, and you will need to adapt to these situations as you play against different opponents. But the key thing is that you abuse Ensnaring Arrow, Strafing and Zephyr combo while applying Thunder stacks, so when you feel like you did enough damage, you can jump on the target, use melee skills, where most important one is Ankle Strike with Offhand Chance node that will increase your double attack chance to 50% when finishing the combo off with Thundercloud's Bombing, which can completely wipe off the opponent if it does double attack. You can alternate between Flash Arrow to deal with a lot of dagger players who go into stealth to pull them out and stun, or Flash Wave if you want AoE damage and recovery for yourself so you can stay alive longer. Since I mostly do large scale PvP, which includes Riftstone and Boonstone battles, open world boss conflict fights and castle sieges, I am mostly experienced in that kind of large scale PvP content. As a Longbow Dagger player, your main goal is to play at the back, survive, and position yourself so you can cast a double Flash Wave. The combo is Flash Wave, Blitz, Stealth, Flash Wave. After that, you have done your part, and two things will likely happen. Either your big group will wipe the enemy group, and then you can focus off on picking off low HP survivors with Strafing, Zephyr, Shadow Strike, Brutal Incision, or the fight is going to go in the favor of the enemy side and they start pushing you back, meaning your last resort to survive and run to safety will be using Tornado and Phantom Smokescreen. But in most cases you will be dead, as this is the nature of the Zergfest PvP. You either live long enough to survive the whole fight, or you die instantly to crossbow spin. The best way to deal with crossbow spin is of course having good gear and high evasion. But if you don't have it yet, use your dodge block as soon as the crossbow starts spinning in your group. In 90% cases, if there is no second spinner, you will most likely survive. The Tornado should never be used as an engage. In some very rare and specific situations, you have to use it to engage. But it is mostly used as a counter-engage tool when you start losing and enemy tanks that start pushing you. There will also be a lot of tanks, which, if possible, you should avoid attacking and try to run past them towards your group. They are unkillable, it requires 15 plus people to kill one tank, and in most cases they are not worth wasting your cooldowns at the start of the engage, but more later after all the enemy DPS players are dead, then you can focus on the tanks. What I usually do when seeing a tank rushing towards me, I try to bind them with an ensnaring arrow and just leave them there for 4 to 5 seconds. But they have high resistance, blocks and defense, so in many situations they just resist it anyways. There isn't more that I can explain when it comes to large scale PvP. It's very laggy, You will often get one-shot by things you didn't even know are in range, the PvP zones are too small, buggy and clumped with random rocks and objects that block you. And if you don't die to the players, the boss will probably one-shot with their stupid mechanics. It's a shit show and I love it. Just remember that PvP requires gear and traits, and if you don't have it, you get steamrolled by any class in any kind of PvP content. If you are interested in seeing Longbow Dagger in both PvE and large-scale PvP, as I do it every single day, jump over to the stream if you see me live. I only stream on YouTube, so come say hi, ask questions, and maybe you learn something new. Keep an eye on the quest log link, join my Discord so you get notification if and when I do some changes to the gear or builds so you can stay up to date, and of course don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content. Please also let me know in the comments what you want to see next and consider watching some of my other videos appearing on your screen.